recipes. They show us the step-by-step of how to prepare dishes to nourish our bodies. But they are so much more than that. They conjure up memories of people and places in very endearing ways. Whether you like the simple instruction of a can of this and a can of that, or if you like the more complex, all-fresh approach, we welcome you to the table as we discuss Southern cookbooks. I'm Lainey.
And I'm Laura Beth. And we are Steel Magnolias. The strength of steel
With the grace of a magnolia.
We are here to have uplifting conversations about life in the South.
And we've got plenty of room at our table, so pull up a chair. Well, welcome to the table. We have a hefty subject to tackle today.
Welcome to the Summer Olympics 2022 version.
Right?
I mean, this is heavy. So
I mean, we had so many directions we could go. It almost was like, do we even do it?
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be a fun conversation.
Yeah, I mean, this is when we put on ourselves. This is we knew as a Southern podcast, you have to have this in your topics.
Yeah.
Cookbooks. It's central to culture here.
And I think when it all boils down to it, the very best Southern cookbook is the one that makes you think of the people you love or the memories you have.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't matter who how pretty the pictures are or any of that. In fact, if it's got little splatters all over it, it's probably better than ever.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
there's no way we can talk about every wonderful recipe. We're just
exactly. And there's not one book. Even if you've got a favorite Southern cookbook, there's no way it
has
can
everything
be all
in
inclusive. And that you got rid of everything else and you just go by this one. So yeah, we need to just go ahead and shed the pressure.
That's right. We have to do that.
This is not a top 10 list. This is not a finals. This is just a conversation. And we brought many of you into the conversation.
That's right. Which I'm so grateful for that, too.
Yes.
Because, again, just like I said in the intro, some people like, give me a can of this, a cup of that, and that's what I like.
Yes.
And other people are like, go into the farmer's market to see what's fresh and building from that. Mm-hmm. And both are fine.
Exactly.
We love you both.
We do. I know who I love a little bit more because one's my speed, but that's okay. Well, I think there's one, maybe not even just one. There's a couple of things that do set Southern cookbooks apart from other cookbooks that you're going to see as regions.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
One of those is beverages. I think Southern cookbooks carry a larger section of beverages than typical cookbooks.
Okay.
Unless it's obviously a smoothie cookbook or something, right? And I read that a drink is an expression of Southern hospitality.
Well, I do
And
think
so
about
that
when
makes
somebody comes in the
sense.
door.
Yes.
You like to greet them with something right away.
Yes.
To drink.
So I think that's one thing for sure that
It's
is
a
a
good
generality
observation.
that
Okay.
you could say, Southern cookbooks are probably going to have a thicker section on beverages if they have a beverage section, which most of them do. And then the other thing is what the weight or the sort of inclusion of relishes in Southern culture.
Okay, pickled things.
Pickled, canned, relished things are our jam.
I love
There's
it.
my pun. So I think that you'll see in lots of the cookbooks that we're going to talk about today, like a larger portion of relishes, again, compared to cookbooks outside of the Southern region.
Okay. I thought you were going to say secondly, we can put a can of cream of mushroom soup in anything.
Oh, yeah.
Or something about casseroles.
Or canned pineapple. Canned
or
pineapple
Ritz
can go
crackers crumbled on top. I thought you were going to say we had more recipes that included that.
That might be true, too. I don't know. But, yeah, I just thought beverages and relishes seem to be some categorical things that make us different. So, anyway, Where do you want to start?
I don't know. Okay. I'm just going to jump in with, in my research and looking through these, there was one that I was shocked how much it covered.
Okay.
Because you were saying there's not one that covers everything.
Right.
But y'all.
Is there one that comes pretty close?
I was shocked by Paula Deen's Southern Cooking Bible.
Okay, yes. So
it is unbelievably thorough. I checked it out from the library. Laura's picking it up right now to look at it. It has so many of the classic Southern recipes, even from different regions. It's got low country. It's got Cajun.
I love that.
It's got fried chicken. It's got banana pudding. I mean,
if you're going to call something the Bible, it should be
better
pretty inclusive.
It better be pretty thorough.
Yeah. Yeah. It says that this is over 300 recipes. And this is a great place to start because a lot of people do want just the traditions.
Give me the traditional. Now, if you want beautiful pictures, this is not going to be the one.
And a lot of people want that too.
Yeah. I loved that we had a listener, Brittany Lynn.
Yes.
And she said she learned to cook using this book.
That's a huge statement.
That is a huge statement.
Yeah.
So if she literally learned to cook, that tells you it does have good step by step.
Yes.
It's not just assuming you know things. So I was so impressed with this one. I did order me a used copy.
Oh, you did? Hey!
Online. Because I'm like, I don't care if it's used.
No, exactly.
It's going to get dirty anyway.
Right.
So I did. There was some recipes in there that I thought, oh, maybe I'll make a copy of this. And once I've thought that like 3 times, I'm like, it's $10 used on Amazon. I'm getting it.
That's actually brings me something funny I've never thought about. We should probably always buy, if we're buying it for ourselves, cookbooks used, because you already know based on how crinkly a page is
if it's good
or not.
Or if it has a little.
No, I'm kidding. Most used books are not that used. I actually have a story about that
Well,
later,
we
though.
have something that I will say right here on that. Our mom used to always write on her recipes, like even on just little recipe cards, good, very good.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
I don't even mess with the goods anymore because she had so many very goods that I was like, why bother with just good?
And so I have started doing that on some recipes, and others, if I make it and it's just okay, I just go ahead and toss the recipe. Like if it's something I've torn out, there's too many good ones to mess with making a just okay one.
Exactly.
Now, another thing I'll do though is just make note, like use half of that amount of cream or half of that amount of mayonnaise or something.
Yes.
If I feel like like that tweak.
For sure.
Anyway.
Well, one thing I'm noticing just in looking through this Paula Deen cookbook is she does in little orange boxes put a little kind of commentary like your grandma over your shoulder kind of, or some wise wisdom.
Make sure you do this.
Yeah. I mean, how to, some breadcrumb substitution, like you've already mentioned Ritz crackers. So there's an easy one, something to pair something with if you're, just there's little things that are in this throughout it in little orange boxes that.
Well, I think what shocked me about that one was just, it felt like it really covered the whole South. Like it wasn't just, Appalachian food, or it wasn't just low country food.
Right.
It was like really covered the gamut.
Yeah. No, I'm liking this a lot.
So
and now I'm looking to see.
Thumbs up on that one.
Yeah, there's over 300 recipes in here. That's a lot.
And it's broken down very easy to find things as well.
Mm-hmm. She ends her chapter 17 on relishes.
Of course she does.
Yes. Chapter 16's beverages. So, yeah.
It's a good one. Okay. From there, I was going to mention The Taste of Country Cooking is considered a true classic.
Yeah.
By Edna Lewis.
Okay. Got to talk about Edna.
So she divided that cookbook. I really do love this about that cookbook. She divides it by seasons and menus.
Love this. Love this. This is going to help your grocery bill. Because you're paying more for things that are out of season. So buy it in season for the cheaper price.
And I think our bodies crave what's in season.
Yeah.
I've mentioned that on this podcast before. Anyway, she also did a collaboration cookbook That's also similarly broken down
Yep.
with menus and seasons with Scott Peacock. And
Yes.
that one was called The Gift of Southern Cooking. Now, Scott Peacock is a younger chef out of, well, he cooked for a long time in Atlanta.
Yeah.
At the Horseradish Grill, and for the Governor's Mansion
Oh,
in Georgia.
that says a lot. Well, this is a 2003 cookbook
Okay.
that you're talking about, The Gift of Southern Cooking. I've got it right here in front of me. I got a copy at the library because I'm still wanting to decide if I want to get a copy of this as well. Yes, Shelley, listener Shelley, said this is a hot topic for her, and this is her number one pick. So we know her personally enough
she cooks
to know.
a lot.
She described it as quintessential Southern, simple, perfect, irreplaceable.
Okay.
And the cover of the book is precious.
Yeah.
Because Edna is a black woman sitting across from Scott, who's a white man. And they've got this beautiful, simple table of just a little cute little tablecloth. It's just the two of them. They just look like they really do enjoy each other. And then you even open up the cookbook and, they're like an even sweeter pose of him just like hugging her from behind. Like, this is clearly a very sweet friendship.
Let me tell you how sweet that friendship was. She lived with him in his home the last 6 years of her life.
Are you serious? I didn't know that. Wow.
So that is pretty special.
Wow.
He was awarded the best chef in the Southeast by the James Beard Foundation in 2007.
Hey.
So he made quite a name for himself and, really, I think, learned a lot from her.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, super sweet friendship. And that makes the book all the
It
more
does.
beautiful, really.
It does. Well, one of the things that I read about it is that they've taken neglected traditional recipes unearthed in their years of research together on Southern food and worked out new versions that they've made their own. So I feel like if you are one that enjoys progress and wants to see things tweaked and modified, this would also be a great cookbook to take a little bit of traditional with a little bit of the new.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I think there's, creamy grits and pan-fried chicken and biscuits. And
well, he's known to be a wonderful biscuit maker, so I would love to see his biscuit recipe before you take that back to the library.
Okay. Garlic braised shoulder lamb chops.
Ooh.
With butter beans and tomatoes.
Now that sounds
Butter beans
delicious.
and tomatoes. Is it any more Southern than that? Yeah, I even thought this was cute that it said in the cake section that these are potentially all cakewalk winners. Do you know what I mean by the
That's
cakewalk?
So cute.
Yeah.
That is
So,
precious.
there's also one that we should probably mention from Edna as well called In Pursuit of Flavor.
Okay.
And that's another classic one. NPR calls her the first lady of Southern cooking.
That's fair.
That's a pretty high mark. But the foreword in that one, In Pursuit of Flavor, is the foreword's done by Mashama Bailey.
Okay.
She's also a James Beard award-winning chef. It's got from the gardens and orchards, from the farmyard, from the lakes, from oceans. These are all kinds of the
categories.
different
That's
categories.
cute.
Yeah. So it's got about 200 recipes in it.
There's an old cookbook I don't have on my notes here, but the Foxfire Appalachian Cookery cookbook. And I love how they break things down because it mentions like from the spring house and like, similarly breaking things down. But that one, girl, they show you like,
is it like how to kill the chicken
how to kill and do and they show you everything, how to build the fire. Like it's very,
homesteading.
Yes. So,
wow, that's incredible.
Yeah. But it's not got all the fluff of some of these others, but it's very basic.
Yeah.
Well, we've mentioned before, we love Southern living.
Of
cookbook,
course.
or, recipes.
Yes.
And they have so many different cookbooks.
Yeah.
I personally don't own many of their cookbooks. I have printed out a lot of their recipes and made my own collections. Yeah. But they do have a couple I wanted to mention. One is called Southern Living All-Time Favorites.
Okay.
and The Ultimate Southern Living Cookbook. So those two names tell me they've got to be good.
Yeah.
Just because they're such big collections. But
well, and I've got the Heirloom Recipe Cookbook from Southern Living
good.
that I'm sitting here looking at. This was, I believe, a wedding gift, which we hadn't mentioned yet. But any of these make great
wonderful
wedding gifts.
Yeah.
Put it with a cutting board or something that they registered for their
From
kitchen.
Tennessee Woodworks.
Yeah.
One of those pretty butcher block boards.
But this one has lots of photos, even nostalgic photos. Look at this old. I mean, that looks like a picnic from the 1980s.
Love it. Yeah, that's special.
And even the recipes are kind of typed out in a nostalgic font. So
that's sweet. Heirloom all the way.
Uh-huh.
There's another name I want to make sure we include early on in these classics, and that is Natalie Dupree. She's out of Charleston, and she's now, I don't know if she's late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
Anyway, she did a cookbook called Mastering the Art of Southern Cooking, which is a play on Julia Child's Mastering the Art of French Cooking.
Yes.
But they knew each other. They are both, really wonderful cooks.
Yeah.
But she does everything in that, from showing you the basics of cleaning vegetables and scrubbing a country ham.
Oh, that's
to,
good.
Actually how to prepare things.
Yes.
So Mastering the Art of Southern Cooking.
That's good.
I wanted that to be in our
That's good.
classic list too.
We need some of these chefs these cookbook authors to come sit with us.
I know.
I would really enjoy getting to talk to some of them personally, one-on-one. That'd be fun. Okay, so Natalie, call us. Have your people call us.
Yeah, I reached out to her website contact, but I didn't hear back because I wanted to see if we could chat with her a bit. But, well, there's so many directions that you can go with cookbooks. Sometimes they even come from iconic restaurants.
True.
You know what I mean?
Because people want to try and replicate at home.
Right.
Yes.
And one of the ones I actually went to the library to look at, I can't buy all of these.
Right.
I don't have even the shelf space for all of these.
Yes.
But the Brennan family out of New Orleans that has Commander's Palace, the famous Commander's Palace, they have a cookbook called Commander's Kitchen. So it features 150 recipes from their extensive offerings. And
wow.
I just wanted to mention that as a, if you want one from a classic restaurant, that might be a good pick.
That sounds amazing.
And another one I had the privilege of going to in my living in Atlanta days, Mary Mac's Tea Room.
Okay.
And they did a 75th anniversary cookbook. That's still a open working restaurant.
Okay.
And it's full of classics too. Fried green tomatoes and, a lot of the Southern classics that they serve there.
Well, then this would probably be a good time for me to mention Miss Daisy. She had a tea room here for years
she did.
And still has a storefront here in the Franklin area. But Miss Daisy Celebrates Tennessee is one of her cookbooks, which is very cool because you get a little history lesson throughout this cookbook as well. This one cracks me up because it's signed... and I bought it from an estate sale, so it's not signed and made out to me. It's to Mary Ann, Celebrate Tennessee, Daisy King, October 1st, 1995. That's when the book came out, was 95. But yeah, these are recipes that were put together in honor of the bicentennial anniversary of the state of Tennessee in 1996. And it celebrates Tennessee people, places, products. This is much more focused on celebratory menus, Easter Sunday, wedding brunches, bridal brunches, New Year's buffet, even tailgating. So it's very focused on celebrations. I would say that. I don't know if this would be a good one for just finding something for the week, but if you like history, especially if you're a Tennessean, this is a really fun thing to have as a resource. And one I would for sure recommend.
Yeah, that's a whole nother direction you could go, whether it's for yourself or a wedding gift, is picking a person who's got something like that for your state.
Mm-hmm.
There is a famous cookbook out of Kentucky. It's actually called Out of Kentucky Kitchens by Marian Flexner.
Okay.
And it's full of colorful anecdotes about famous Kentuckians, hostess and cooks.
I love it.
So included with the recipes is the kind of culinary journey of Kentucky, or, you know, in Mississippi, Julia Reed had some cookbooks and full of fun stories and different things like that. So that's another direction you could go with a cookbook, is not just from a restaurant, but from your home state.
Yeah, just from wanting to know the full picture, the full cultural context that some of the recipes, how they came about. Yep, I love it.
Well, another popular direction you can go with a cookbook is a collaboration that's done by the Junior League.
Oh my gosh, yes.
They do, you know, I mean, Junior League, a lot of those people involved in Junior League do a lot of hosting, do a lot of entertaining, I might say. More than
sure, yes.
So there's several famous Junior League cookbooks. One of the most famous Junior League cookbooks I would think of is the Charleston Receipts.
Yes.
So the Charleston Junior League put that collection together, and it's been going for a long time.
Yeah, you have the receipts. I have the receipts repeats, and these are so fun in the way that they are the plastic spiral bound that you'll see only in the world of church cookbooks.
Oh, love them so much.
But we'll go ahead and mention it here. But yeah, this was, the repeats came out in 1994, so it's already dated as well. But this one's very special to me because this was given to me from my friend Leslie, whose mom has passed. And so this was part of her inheritance, and she was kind enough to give it to me because she knows how much I love Charleston. But yeah, I would say I actually just discovered in the back of I don't know if the regular receipt one has this or not, but in the back there are some menu sections that are fantastic. There's a huge notes section, which cracks me up. Like, only in 1994 would you have actually been making notes, right? And
careful. This girl still takes notes on her recipes.
But it's got menus for luncheons, light suppers, summer suppers, dinners. Does yours have that? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Supper club fare. I love that. I love that there was a supper club that somebody consulted this cookbook for.
Does yours include some of the beginning sections of things? It'll have a little bit of the Gullah language. Which is because that's who was doing the cooking.
Yes.
Let's keep that in mind.
Yes.
Does yours have that?
I don't see that in mine, but I might just be overlooking it.
Okay. Well, we'll have to chat about that after because I think it's interesting. But yeah, each category in mine has a little Gullah thing at the beginning.
Okay.
And, you know, in that Charleston area, that's who was cooking a lot of the food. Mm-hmm. So that was another thing I would say is a lot of the best chefs in the South sometimes didn't get credit for their own recipes.
Exactly.
A long time ago. So I'm glad that's changed now.
For sure. Yeah, one of my favorite crab cakes recipes actually comes from, I haven't made a lot of crab cakes in my days, but
it comes from that.
It comes from this cookbook, yeah.
Well, they have a prevalence of crab in that area, so they should know how to make good crab cakes. Well, another, really popular Junior League cookbook collaboration that I think one of our listeners mentioned as well is the Tea Time at the Masters.
Oh, yes.
That was put together by the Junior League of Augusta. And one of the things I think is cute about that one is it includes recipes from, for instance, the crab casserole from Mrs. Jack Nicholas.
Yes.
Or the zucchini bread from Mrs. Arnold Palmer.
I love that.
So you have some, if you're a golfer, that might be fun to have some of their recipes.
Yes. And we've mentioned on that Masters episode, some even really simple. You'd think of the Masters as being everything so elegant and gourmet. Really pimento cheese sandwich and egg salad sandwich are really popular menu items on that course. So yeah, that's a fun one that was mentioned.
A couple other junior leagues I wanted to mention. The Talk About Good is the title of a collaboration of the Junior League of Lafayette, Louisiana. So it focuses on Cajun food.
Okay.
And I love that this cookbook starts even just with a basic roux, how to make a basic roux.
So good.
And then it ends with gumbo. So it's a lot of the Cajun flair. If that's something you want to learn more about,
that's
you might want to check out Talk About Good.
I love that. And when we went to that cooking class, and it was a gumbo cooking class, but I loved that they started just by going over the basics of a roux.
Yeah, because that's important to so many sauces and gravies and that kind of thing. And then the Junior League of Baton Rouge has what's considered by most to be the textbook of Creole cooking, and theirs is called River Road Recipes.
Okay.
So the junior leagues know what they're doing.
I love it.
And there's even a collaboration that's just called the Southern Junior League Cookbook.
Okay.
So it's a compilation of several Southern Junior League.
That sounds really good. Southern Junior League Cookbook?
That's right.
Okay. I heard from one of our listeners that the 1977 Junior League Nashville Encore Cookbook was one of their favorites. So.
Okay. I think that one might even include some recipes from like country music celebrities.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're a country music fan, that might be a fun one to own.
That is fun. That's fun. Well, Allison, the gal that mentioned Tea Time at the Masters, she also mentioned the Blue Willow Inn Bible of Southern Cooking.
Oh, that's a restaurant.
Uh-huh. And then I also forgot to mention when you were talking restaurants, Choices Recipes.
Oh, that was here in Franklin. Our mom has that.
They have a good cookbook. The Choices Recipes. It's from the Choices Restaurant in historic Franklin. And
so cute. Another one that some people might know, there was a popular restaurant in Chapel Hill, North Carolina called Crooks Corner, and they have one called Seasoned in the South. That's supposed to be really good as well. So
I love it.
What else?
We had 2 votes for Aunt Bee's Mayberry cookbook.
Now, I'm
not familiar with Aunt Bee's cooking, but apparently she can do a cookbook well. So we have to mention that one.
Well, that's pretty classic North Carolina.
Yeah.
And I believe it might even include the recipe for her kerosene cucumbers. If you know that episode, that will ring a bell. Yeah.
Well, I think the spiral bound cookbooks are most precious to me because they're out of print. Like, there's so many church spiral cookbooks that if you've got one, you're going to have to reproduce it yourself because nobody has access to it.
Yeah, I had a couple of friends when I asked them what their favorites were. It was, the First United Methodist of Greenwood, Mississippi, or the WMU First Baptist Church of Morganfield, Kentucky. So those aren't easily accessible online.
Yeah,
but those have a lot of great recipes from people you may know and love.
But it makes me sad, but yet curious at the same time are there recipes that are contained within some church spiral bound cookbook that the world needs to hear and know, and we don't know that we're missing it because it's not in this mass produced Barnes and Noble shelf.
True.
And I don't know.
If that's the case, put it and you know about it, put it on our Instagram or Facebook group or something.
Yeah.
That would be really fun to do.
You? Yeah, because I feel like there's got to be somebody out there that's like, this yeast roll recipe is
the best of the best of the best.
Yes. Yeah. Nothing touches it, and Southern Living's never covered this like this, and there's got to be some of those out there. So
I'm sure. A couple other things before I don't know if you're almost done.
I'm almost done.
A couple of things I wanted to say. There's a pretty brand new cookbook. I mean, it's just been out a matter of months that I looked at that I thought this might be destined to be a classic. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Emily Meggett's Gullah Geechee Home Cooking. It looks delicious.
Really?
I think I would use the word simple. Like, it didn't look overly complicated. I guess that's why it's home cooking.
Now, I know the name Emily Meggett, but I'm
She's
having
considered,
trouble.
they call her the matriarch of, I can't even speak, matriarch of Edisto Island.
Okay. Yes.
And so she...
You've told me about her before.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's Gullah Geechee, and
Yes.
she's, has cooked for years and years. I don't know how old she is, but anyway, I did look at her cookbook in the Barnes & Noble, and I was just like, this looks like it could stand the test of time.
Wow. Okay. Well,
So if you want those kind of crab rice and kind of some of those one-pot meals and things that
Yes.
the Gullah people are known for, that might be one you might want to check out.
they are known for. I'm glad you mentioned one pot meals, because that's one of the appeals I have about some of the Gullah
you're
cooking
getting-
that we learned about this summer, and red rice, and just simple.
Some of those simple things that have the
Full of
protein
flavor.
right in there. And,
Yeah.
whew, so good. And then, of course, another direction, we didn't really go into this specifically, but if there's a chef you love,
Well, yeah,
and
yeah,
they're
yeah.
well known, they may have one
Yes,
as well.
yes.
I don't think we can touch Southern cookbooks and not at least mention the beauty of the photography and everything that is Heritage by Sean Brock.
Oh, yes.
It's just gorgeous.
Yes.
It almost looks more like a coffee table book to me. It's so
Yes.
beautiful.
Yeah. A lot of the modern chefs have such pretty books that I'm not sure how much cooking's coming out of them, other than just coffee table
Yeah.
ware. Yeah.
And then I really like Edward Lee, some of his approach to food. He has one called Smokin' Pickles. So I'm sure you like that because you were mentioning the relishes and all. But
Well, that's awesome. I want to do just like a quick honorable mentions.
For sure,
Even though
let's do it.
we didn't go into any depth on these, but there were so many that you guys mentioned that all sound so good.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, your home state carries weight with you. So Marianne, our Texan listener, she loves the Homesick Texan, As the Spur Stirs, the Texas Food Bible, all three of those.
ooh,
Calling All Cooks was mentioned by Kelly. We had Stan Thrasher. He mentioned one, and I bet it's good because he's a good
great
cook. Frank Stitz, Southern
Okay.
Table.
Okay. Yeah, he's a great cook.
What else? Oh, the Nashville Cookbook, Virginia Hospitality Cookbook by Hampton Roads Junior League.
I know one listener mentioned the White Lily cookbook.
Oh yeah,
And I would just say it's a great one for baking.
Baking.
I mean, it's
That's
got
new.
all the baking
yeah.
classics in it. And that's a whole nother direction we didn't really focus on. But there's another popular one called Southern Cakes by Nancy McDermott that's supposed to be really good if you're
Okay.
a baker and like cakes.
Yeah,
It's-
that is. It's a whole
like,
nother
that's a
category.
whole nother.
Yeah, that
We
way.
could do grilling and pit masters.
Yes.
I mean, that's a whole nother one, right?
Yeah.
Rodney Scott's.
Yeah.
Or Aaron
Yeah.
Franklin or Myron Mixon. Like, you got that
That's
whole
true.
world. Like,
Look at you rattling them all off. Yeah, the cookbooks that pertain to smoking at our house are starting to outweigh just regular cookbooks because my husband's so into that right now. But just and on and on and on. I know
Right.
I didn't get to mention everybody's that sent something in, but again, like we said, it's so personal.
it is.
And
I enjoyed getting to read what stands out to other people, though.
I did, too.
Isn't it sweet?
I did too. But I think I went into it thinking, I wonder if there's going to be even, like, if this is going to widen the pool even more for us, or if this is going to narrow it down. And sure enough, it
widens the pool.
It widened the pool.
Well, I think about, too, how sweet. Like, you've got a cookbook there that was a passed down from someone else. It's fun to think about that. Like, who's going to get our cookbooks and,
Yeah.
our cast iron skillets and,
Yep.
all of that special stuff that's seasoned with love
So good.
and lard.
Good Lord. Well, I would say the library actually is a great resource for what we're talking about today because cookbooks can be an investment. So
Yeah.
go check some of these out.
See what you want to buy.
and then figure out what you want to
Yeah.
buy. Yeah, just like you did. So, okay. happy cooking, happy baking, happy grilling and smoking and all the things, canning. And with that, I'll just leave you with peace be with you, Lainey.
And also with y'all.